And so what is the problem? What are some ways that the problem can be addressed? And when you start there, then it's just a question of what are the other criteria. Finding something that's highly effective to control weeds, but also something that can be registered, something that from an environmental side, from a sustainability side, is going to fit with the demands that the public has for their food supply, and again also to those growers, something that's going to be cost effective, something they can use in their current equipment. They don't have to buy new things. So putting a lot of different challenges on our own team to find some different solutions and pathways that are different. And so that's where some of the different plant extracts come in, easier to register, easier to deploy than maybe some other types of solutions in the biologics world. Making sure that we find something that's efficacious, and our products work in the soil as well as on the plants, and then continuing to develop those products to make them more effective, more cost effective, more deployable. Because if you have a solution that's fantastic for one place, is good. But if it's not really deployable across geographies, then it's only really a solution for one subset of people. And again, that's a grand challenge to think about finding a solution that could be deployable globally, not just within a continent or a country. Again, you start with those ideas, and then you slowly but surely whittle your way through potential options, and then you find some that are going to work, and then you continue to develop those. And that's the path that we took. So there's nothing magical. There's no, there are no light bulb moments in this as much as these are the steps that you take to make something or to build something. And as long as you know what the problem is and you're very clear about, where your goals are, you can put that together.
You say that there's nothing magical or no light bulb moments, and I get that because it's not magic, it's science. But you had the entire possibility of all the plant extracts in the world to look at. How do you then sort of focus in on a couple or one or two that are really great, and sort of bring me back to those moments when you were testing those out and figuring out like, oh, these might work, these might actually be the ones?
Yeah, it goes back to the criteria because there are lots of different ones. I mean, there's different organizations globally that have been looking at natural products, plant extracts for 50 years. I mean, if you really go back, 100 years or more ago, before there was a lot of chemical crop protection agents, people were looking for natural things that farmers would use in their environments to help get rid of pests or keep weeds away and different things of that nature. So it's not that a lot of those pieces aren't out there. Again, it goes back to the criteria. And so some of the criteria, again, goes back to the deployability. And there are actually some good examples of, if there's a plant that's growing, let's say, in a remote island in the mid-Pacific Ocean,
Sure.
That's great. If you find the molecule, that's great. You could probably have to hope that you can synthesize the molecule, because based on how the plant grows within that environment, it may be quite difficult to get it naturally.
Right.
Maybe you have to do a fermentation process. So each one of these things magnifies the ability to deploy, the ability to take an idea that's been proven with a molecule, with an extract, and bring it and put it in someone's hands. So we needed to make sure that at least the core set of the 10 or so extracts that we use was accessible. And in the early stages, just so we could purchase them.
Sure.
Happy to go to the Pacific to get something from an island, but that, in order to do some early stage testing, you need to be able to buy things.
Yeah.
Knowing that there was a commercial supply of a lot of the extracts that we were looking at meant that when it comes to formulating, when it comes to really looking at a deployment geographically for a certain type of crop or a certain type of application, that supply chain could be met. Otherwise, again, from a commodity side, it's very expensive going to the Pacific Island to get the one plant extract, and it's also restrictive.